Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I hope you're doing well. We're going to talk today about the Great Reset. The Great Reset. It's a topic that's trending all over financial YouTube or uh, the internet. And the sad thing is that the first time I ever experienced the word or term the Great Reset was approximately around 2013, 2014. It was not a theory, a plan, which most people don't understand, to change the entire world's monetary system from a US dollar based system where goods were purchased with the US dollar, and it was going to change to a basket of currencies. Now, the reason why I might be sounding a little bit more sober and more real is because the sad truth is, it's not a theory. This is an actual plan that was put together by multiple countries that were, quite frankly, very upset with the United States and the way that they had been exporting their inflation through the printing of dollars worldwide and the manipulation of that currency by doing things like sanctions against governments. Right now, many people around the world are finally being clued in and educated to the realities of what the US government has been doing through sanctions and through the tools like financial tools like SWIFT, whereas they can take something as simple as a messaging app, a texting application that was built in the, I believe, 1950s, that all it does is text bank to bank, right? Money coming in and going out. And they use that tool to financially manipulate countries, individuals, and they're able to essentially wage financial war on them. Well, quite frankly, the governments around the world have been fed up for a long time, and they've been watching the US enjoy this fact of being able to print currency and not see the repercussions of inflation. Whereas countries all around the world, for the last 50 years, we've watched economies fall apart because of the destruction of their own currencies, right? By them printing excessively, like Venezuela and Turkey, countries like that, that when they print too much, they cause inflation. There's a lot more financial repercussions behind their actions. Well, the world has finally given up and they've said, we're not going to do this anymore, and we're going to go after the dollar. Now, the Great Reset was coined by, I really don't know who coined it, but I've heard multiple times the IMF calling for a Great Reset. I've also heard the IMF calling for a new Bretton Woods system, which means that other countries and banks like the IMF want more, let's say, responsibilities on any governing country or central bank that issues currency. And one of those responsibilities is, if you're going to print money, we want it backed by something that you have, whether it be oil, gold, silver. We want it backed by something, right? We want some kind of backing to your currency. Now, whether we like the IMF or not, I quite frankly do not. I do not like any central banks or world banks. I don't like any of them, to be honest with you. I think we should have a free market everywhere. But the world's not led by the ninja. So uh, the truth is, the Great Reset was a plan, and it is being inputted right now. That is why you're seeing it right now. You may not understand it, but everything around the world is being revalued. And it is very important to be on the right side of that revaluation. Let me explain why or how. You see, we're seeing inflation going up everywhere because the currencies around the world, I've talked about this before, are imploding in value. They're being destroyed. And right now, wealthy individuals are repositioning themselves into different types of assets, whereas the assets of choice before were stocks and bonds, now are becoming commodities like gold, silver, land. And when I mean land, I'm not talking about a fancy house that you get to show off to your friends. I'm talking about land that is useful either for development of multiple homes for sale, farmland where you can grow food, um, or land that produces natural resources like water and oil. Okay, those properties will continue to go up over time and are always a great investment. Why? Because you can use that real estate for other things other than impressing your friends. So, um, and so the wealthy people of the world are positioning themselves now into those resources, those assets, real assets that have real value to more people than just you, one person. So it's ironic that everybody talks about the Great Reset now while it's happening, whereas many people uh, had no clue what it was, even as recent as a year or two ago. Now, it's exciting that people are waking up to this, but it's also scary because what people don't realize is you only have so much time in an economic cycle to prepare for the next economic cycle. A lot of people think that if you're wealthy, you can just simply move money like this and that, but it's actually not that easy. When we talk about liquid assets, uh, very few very few people understand um, how difficult it is to move assets. If you're in real estate, you know that you have, you know, escrow times, purchase times, and these are times that take up a specific amount of time because of contracts that are signed, negotiations, your due diligence period, things like that. Whereas sometimes with stocks, it's as easy as the flick of a switch. Um, and that is simply what you're seeing right now, a rebalancing. People in the know are moving out of stocks. Like you've heard before, just recently, Bill Gates is completely out of the stock market. How do we know this? Because certain individuals and companies, for sure, they have to disclose their holdings publicly, depending on how they hold them. So we know for sure that the wealthy people of the world have been getting out of the markets. And they think completely different, and that's why they're wealthy, than most people. Where, I'll give you an example. I sold my house in 2018 to prepare for this last crash. And just as of a few months ago, there were people in the real estate industry that knew me, knew what I used to do with real estate, and they've mocked, they laugh, they go, I can't believe you sold. Look at how much money you have lost. I simply lost probably about an additional 30% upside on my real estate. Now, here is the behind the scenes story. I took that money and I purchased Bitcoin and silver. I had the silver stored, I had the Bitcoin pulled off of an exchange and stored properly. I hold my own seed phrase. I have it held to where an exchange can't seize it like we saw with Coinbase. I did it properly. And as of 2018, I have lost in many professional real estate people's eyes. And to be honest with you, when I say professional with air quotes, it's more of a mocking thing because these people buy and sell real estate for other people with money. They rarely, seldomly have their own real estate other than possibly one house. And since then, I bought Bitcoin at $6,000 and silver at $1,450. You guys know the prices of those, so I'll let you decide. Did I do good? See, my point being is as we talk about the Great Reset, many people think they know what's going on, but they really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And where a speculator may mock an investor because, look, you sold this and you had more upside. They don't truly understand what a blow off top is and an emotional frenzy during the end of a cycle, whether it be real estate, like you saw me call the top. And I said, this is it. This is the end for real estate in July. And a lot of people said, you're wrong because they're simply looking at the price. What they're not looking at is the market. And like I've said before, the reason why real estate is exploding in price is because inventory has completely collapsed due to the fact that nobody has the money to sell their home and move up in the real estate game. That is when you know we're at the end. Try your hardest to start to realize that the Great Reset is all in everyone's mind. Either it's at the forefront or it's hidden behind. but guaranteed everybody on Earth knows that something is wrong. They just can't usually they can't understand why something's wrong. But once they understand how this system is wrecked, they will understand what to do about it. So I hope I broke this down in a simple format, because I think it's very, very important in this day right now that we are in to understand there are a lot of things shifting, which means there's a lot of opportunities. However, there's also a lot of downside, because as people start to wake up to the harsh reality, the US has lost its reserve currency status, and that has already happened. It was already told to you in public, and it is already happening in reality because of what's happening all around the world, geopolitically and monetarily. Once they find that out, there is going to be a panic, and that panic will cause a deflationary spiral, unlike anything you have seen or read about in the last 90 years. All right, guys, that being said, I hope you got something out of this. Thank you for all the new subscribers, all the thumbs up. The Economic Ninja is out.